Your eyes are sending you warning signals right now, and most people completely ignore them. That occasional blur when you look across the room, the strain after reading for just a few minutes, the way bright lights seem harsher than they used to. These aren't random inconveniences. They are early signs of something happening deep inside your eye tissue, something that, left unaddressed, can quietly escalate into serious, permanent vision loss. And here's what makes this even more alarming. The most destructive damage to your eyes doesn't happen while you are staring at a screen or driving in the sun. It happens in the hours you least expect it, while you sleep. Tonight, I'm going to show you exactly why that happens, what's really going on inside your eyes as you age, and 7 scientifically studied vegetables that have been shown to support and protect your vision from the inside out, starting with what might already been sitting in your refrigerator right now. Most people assume deteriorating vision is simply part of getting older, something you avoid, something you just manage with stronger glasses or drops. But that assumption is costing millions of people have their independence. You wake up and your eyes feel gritty, like there's sand under your lids. Reading the newspaper requires better lighting than it used to. 2. You're leaning closer to your phone to make out the text. And at night, whether it's street lights, headlights, or outlet room, the goal is worse than you ever remember it being. These experiences are not random. They point to a pattern of internal eyes deterioration that is measurable, progressive, and, according to a growing bodies of research, at least partially addressed able through the right nutritional choices. According to the American Academy of Ophthalmology, after the age of 55, the risk of developing conditions like age-related macular degeneration, glaucoma, and cataracts increases significantly with each passing decades. The National Eye Institute estimates that by 2050, the number of Americans affected by these conditions would nearly double compared to today. What most people are never told is this: the retina, the light-sensitive tissue lining, the back of your eye, has one of the highest metabolic demands of any tissue in the entire human body. It consumes oxygen and nutrients at remarkable rates. And as we age, the tiny capillaries that supply those nutrients began to narrow, stiffen, and deliver less. The result? Your retina, the very foundation of the ability to see, begins to starve slowly, quietly, and often invisibly, until the damage becomes impossible to ignore. Landmark study published in Progress in 2022, Retinal and Eye Research confirmed that chronic oxidative stress and low-grade inflammation within retinal tissue are among the primary drivers of age-related vision loss, and that both processes are significantly influenced by diet. That's not an opinion, that's published science. And it means that what you eat and when you eat it may play a far greater role in the future of your vision than most eye doctors ever take the time to discuss. My name is Dr. Blake Harrison, and for years, Javi worked alongside patients, navigating real vision challenges, helping them understand not just what is happening to their eyes, but what they can do about it through evidence-based, natural strategies that complement conventional care. Today, I want to share 7 vegetables backed by peer-reviewed research that have been shown to support retinal health, reduce inflammation, improve circulation to the eyes, and even protect against the progression of conditions like macular degeneration and cataracts. Before we begin, I want to be clear: everything shared in this video is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are experiencing vision changes, please consult a licensed eye care specialist. Your eyesight is irreplaceable, and no video replaces a proper examination. Now, before we start, I'd like to know where you're watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. We're building Aglables, communities of people committed to protecting their vision naturally, and I genuinely read every message. Let's count down from number 7. We began with one of the most researched vegetables in eye health science, yet one that most people don't consume nearly enough of. Here, as the core problem spinach addresses As your retina ages, the macular pigment, a thin, critical layer of protective pigment in the center of your retina, begins to thin. This pigment is natural defense against your eyes' harmful blue light and oxidative damage. As it thins, your risk of macular degeneration rises sharply. Spinach is one of the richest known dietary sources of lutein and zeaxanthin, the two carotenoids that your body uses to rebuild and maintain this protective pigment. Unlike most antioxidants, these compounds are selectively deposited directly into retinal tissue. Your body knows exactly where to send them. Amateur clinical study. The Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2, a REDS 2, conducted by the National Eye Institute, founded that high dietary intake of lutein and zeaxanthin was associated with a significantly reduced risk of advanced macular degeneration. The evidence was strong enough that these nutrients were incorporated into the official ARD-S2 supplement formula. But here's what the supplement industry doesn't emphasize. Food-based sources like spinach deliver lutein in a form that is naturally paired with fats and fibers, which improves bioavailability and absorption in ways that isolated supplements cannot fully replicate. How to use it. Lightly saute 1 to 2 cups of fresh spinach in extra virgin olive oil, not raw, not boiled. Heat breaks down the plant cell walls, releasing more lutein, while the fat in olive oil is essential for absorption. A 2002 study published in the European Journal of Nutrition confirmed that cooked spinach with a fat source delivered significantly higher lutein concentrations in the bloodstream compared to raw spinach consumed without fat. Critical details. Never cook spinach in excess water and drain it. You lose critical for water-soluble compounds. Overall eye health. A quick saute is all you need. Number 6 on our list targets a problem that most people don't associate with aging eyes but should. As we age, the cornea and the tear film that coats the surface of your eyes become less stable. Tearing production decreases. The tear film evaporates more quickly, and the result is more than just discomfort. Unstable tear film means the light entering your eye scatters rather than focuses. Yes. Clean lie on your retina. In plain terms, dry eyes don't just hurt, they directly blur your vision. Sweet potato is among the most concentrated dietary sources of beta-carotene, a compound your body converts to vitamin A, and vitamin A is absolutely essential for the production of rhodopsin, the pigment in your rod cells that allows you to see in dim light, as well as for maintaining a healthy, stable tear film. A deficiency in vitamin A is actually the leading preventable cause of blindness worldwide, according to the World Health Organization, and while outright deficiency is rare in developed countries, subclinical sufficiency in levels to low for optimal eye function but not low enough to trigger a clinical diagnosis is far more common than most people realize. A deficiency in vitamin A is actually the leading preventable causes of blindness worldwide, according to the World Health Organization, and while outright deficiency is rare in developed countries, subclinical sufficiency in levels to low for optimal eye function but not low enough to trigger a clinical diagnosis is far more common than most people realize. A 2021 review published in New Science found that consistent dietary intaking of beta-carotene-rich foods was associated with improved tear film stability, reduced dry eye symptoms, and better night vision. Comes out in adults over 50. How to use it. Roast 1 medium sweet potato skin on at moderate heat until tender. The skin contains additional antioxidants and fiber that supports metabolic health overall, which indirectly protects retinal circulation. Pair with a drizzle of olive oil or pieces of a small avocado. Beta-carotene is fat soluble without fat. Absorption is dramatically reduced. Do not microwave it in a container with water. Steam. Cooking leaches out water-soluble vitamins, roasting that supports optic nerve function, preserves them. Number 5 is one that surprises almost everyone because most people think of bell peppers as a salad ingredients, not a vision protective powerhouse. Here's the issue: this vegetable directly targets the lens of your eyes. Your lens is a transparent, flexible structure that focuses on light to your over decades of exposure to UV radiation, oxidative stress, and a process called glycation where excess blood sugar binds to lens proteins. The lens gradually becomes clouded. This is the foundation of cataracts, the leading cause of vision impairment globally. Red bell peppers contain more vitamin C per grams than almost any other vegetable, including more than oranges, which most people assume are the top source, and vitamin C plays a specific, documented role in lens health. The lens of your eye maintains an unusually high concentration of vitamin C, far higher than the surrounding blood. This concentration is believed to function as an antioxidant shield, protecting lens proteins from oxidative cross-linking, which is one of the key mechanisms behind cataracts formation. A 2020 study published in Ophthalmology involving over 1,000 pairs of twins found that higher dietary vitamin C intaking was associated with a 33% reduction in cataracts progression over a 10-year period. The researchers concluded that diet-based vitamin C had a meaningfully protective effect on lenses, clarity independent of genetic factors. Red bell peppers also contain CAPS, anthin and beta-cryptoxanthin, two additional carotenoids with anti-inflammatory properties that support overall retinal health. How to use it: eat half a raw red bell pepper daily, not cooked. Vitamin C is heat sensitive and degrades rapidly above certain temperatures. Raw delivery ensures maximum potency. Pairs with hummus or a small amount of nuts for the fat needs add to absorb the carotenoids alongside the vitamin C. Choose red over green or yellow. Red bell peppers are fully ripened and contains 2 to 3 times the vitamin C and carotenoid content of their green counterparts, numbers which are harvested before full ripeness. 4 addresses something that directly conventional eye care rarely discusses, and that is the health of the optic nerve itself. Most conversations about vision focused on the retina, the lens, or the cornea, but the optic nerve is the cable that carries every visual signal from your eyes to your brain. If that cable is damaged through elevated eye pressure, oxidative injury, or poor circulation, your vision deteriorates, regardless of how healthy your retina is. Broccoli is one of the most nutrient-dense foods available for optic nerve protection, and here's why. It is rich in sulforaphane, a powerful natural compound. When produced, broccoli is chewed or chopped. Sulforaphane activates a cellular defense pathway known as the NOF2 pathway, which triggers the production of the body's own internal antioxidant enzymes, compounds far more potent than any single dietary antioxidant. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Neurochemistry found that cell-activated NR4-phane, F2-driven antioxidant defenses in retinal ganglion cells, the neurons that form the optics nerves, and significantly reduced cell death under conditions of oxidative stress. Researchers described the effect as neuroprotective, a term that speaks directly to preserving the structural integrity of your optic nerves. Broccoli also provides significant amounts of lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin C, and folate, AB vitamins shown in research to reduce elevated homocysteine levels, which are independently associated with increased risk of glaucoma and optic nerve damage. How to use it: chop or crush your broccoli and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes before cooking. This waiting period allows the enzyme myrosinase to fully convert glucoraphanin into sulforaphane. If you Cook immediately after cutting. Heat destroys the enzyme before conversion occurs, and you lost a significant portion of the sulfur A. Feign. Steam lightly no more than 4 to 5. Overboiling destroys both the sulfur aminate feigns and the water-soluble vitamins. Pair with a sprinkles of mustard seeds, which naturally boosts sulfur A. Feign production by up to 4 times, according to research from Johns Hopkins University. Number 3 is a vegetable that has earned its reputation as a nutritional powerhouse, but specifically for eye health. The research is more targeted and more compelling than most people realize. The problem kale addresses is the retinal oxidative damage, gradual breakdown of photoreceptor cells caused by accumulating free radical activity over decades of light exposure. Your photoreceptors, the rods and cones in your retina, are exposed to light every single day of your life. Each exposure generates amount of a small oxidative stress over 60, 70, 80 years. That accumulation becomes significant. Kale is the single most concentrated source of dietary, both lutein and zeaxanthin common lie among all consumed vegetables. A single cup of cooked kale provides levels of these carotenoids that rival or exceed many commercial supplements in a form your body is naturally equipped to absorb and utilize. But what makes kale particularly interesting in recent research is its vitamin K2 content, a nutrient almost never discussed in the context of eye health, yet increasingly linked to it. A 2003 study published in Nutrients found that vitamin K2 plays a role in regulating calcium metabolism within ocular tissues, and that low K2 status was associated with increased calcification in blood vessels, supplying the retina a measurable contributor to age-related macular degeneration. How to use it: massage raw kale with a small amount of olive oil and a few drops of lemon juice for 2 to 3 minutes before eating. This process physically breaks down the tough cellulose lost structure of kale leaves, improving digestibility and significantly increasing the availability of lutein and zeaxanthin without the heat that would otherwise degraded vitamin K and folate. Important: individuals taking thinners such as blood warfarin should consult their physician before significantly increasing kale intake, as the high vitamin content can interact with anticoagulant medications. Number 2 is the vegetable's most common lie associated with eyes health, and while popular culture has simplified the story, the science behind it is deeper and more nuanced than most people know. The issue carrots directly target is night vision decline and photoreceptors regeneration. Your rod cells, the photoreceptors responsible for low light vision, depends almost entirely on a compound called retinal, derived from vitamin A. Every time your eyes adapt from light to darkness, retinal is consumed in the process. Your body must continuously replenish it. When it can't, whether due to age-related absorption decline, poor diet, or metabolic inefficiency, night vision suffers first, and broader visual function follows. Carrots are among the most accessible and bio-available sources of beta-carotene, which your liver converts to vitamin A on demand. Unlike preformed vitamin A from animal sources, beta-carotene from carrots is self-regulating. Your body converts only what it needs, making toxicity virtually impossible through food intake. A 2020 study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that regular consumption of cooked carrots over an 8-week period was associated with measurably improved dark adaptation speed, how quickly the eyes adjusted from a bright environment to dimming lighting in adults over 55. Research also shows that carrot-derived beta-carotene works synergistically with lutein to increase macular pigment density, the two compounds demonstrating a complementary protective effect when consumed together, rather than in isolation. How to use it: cook your carrots lightly, steam or roast them. Unlike most vegetables where raw is preferable, beta-carotene in carrots is significantly more bioavailable after cooking because heat breaks down the thick cell walls that otherwise limits absorption. A 2019 study found that cooked Carrots deliver up to 40% more beta-carotene to the bloodstream than consumed in the raw carrots. Same quantity, paired with healthy fat of adds olive oil or a side of avocado to maximize absorption, and whenever possible leave the skin on. The outer layer of the carrot is particularly concentrated in antioxidant compounds, and at number 1 of vegetables that does not make many superfood lists isn't top 10 discussed in eyes health circles, and yet when the full body of research is examined stands out as perhaps the most complete vision protective food available. Collard greens. Here's the specific problem they target, and it is in that affects nearly every person over the age of 60 in some degree. The simultaneous decline of macular pigment tears, film stability, retinal circulation, and optics nerve protection all happening at once, compounding each other. Most vegetables on the list addresses one or two of these mechanisms. Collard greens address all of them. Per calorie, collard greens provide higher combined levels of lutein and zeaxanthin than kale, spinach, or any other commonly consumed leafy green. They also provide substantial vitamin C, beta-carotene, vitamin K, folate, and calcium, along with a unique profile of glucosinolates similar to broccoli that supports the NOF2 antioxidant defense pathways discussed earlier. A 2022 meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition analyzed 18 studies examining dietary leafy green intake and eye health outcomes. Across all studies, consistent leafy green consumption, particularly dark varieties like collard greens, was associated with a 35% lower risks of developing advanced age-related macular degeneration and lower risk of a 22% significant cataract progression over time. Those are not trivial numbers. Across an aging population, those percentages represent millions of people retaining their independence, their ability to read, to drive, to recognize the faces of people they love, how to use it. Lightly braised collard greens in low sodium vegetable broth with a small amount of olive oil and garlic. The braising liquid retains water soluble nutrients. Do not discard it. Consume both the greens and the liquids. Add a pinch of turmeric. Curcumin has been shown in emerging research to enhance the availability of lutein by supporting gut absorption. Consuming 3 to 4 times per week for sustained benefit. Consistency matters far more than occasional large servings. Even if you incorporate every vegetable on this list, you can significantly undermine their benefits if you ignore these 5 evidences-based rules. Rule 1. Always pair with healthy fats. Lutein, zeaxanthin, beta-carotene, and vitamin K are all fat-soluble. Without fat present during digestion, their absorption is drastically reduced, sometimes by more than half. A small amount of olive oil, avocado, walnuts, or flax seed oil with your vegetables is not optional, it is essential. Rule 2. Avoid excessive calcium at the same meal. High calcium foods consumed alongside lutein-rich vegetables can competitively reduce carotenoids absorption through shared intestinal transport pathways. Research suggests spacing in dairy. Take at least 60 to 90 minutes away from your vegetables intake where possible. Rule 3. Do not overcook. Heat is the enemy of vitamin K and vitamins critical for certain optic nerve function. Steam lightly, saute briefly, or braise gently. Boiling vegetables in excess water and discarding the liquid removes a significant portion of water soluble nutrients. Rule 4. Prepare strategically. 4. Broccoli and kale, chop first. Wait 5 to 10 minutes, then cook. 4. For carrots and sweet potatoes before cooking. Eating. For spinach, saute brief flies in fat. 4. Bell peppers, eat raw. The preparation method changes the bioavailability dramatically for each vegetable. Rule 5. Consistency over quantity. Eye tissue, particularly the retina, accumulates protective carotenoids slowly over weeks and months of consistent intake. Eating a large the amount occasionally provides minimal sustained benefits. 3 to 5 servings per week, maintained consistently over time, is what the research consistently shows to drive measurable outcomes. Let me bring this together. Blurry vision, night vision difficulty, dry and fatigued eyes. These are not simply inevitable consequences of getting older. They are, in large part, the results of specific identifiable processes within your eye tissue. Oxidative damage, inflammation, declining retinal circulation, macular thinning, and growing research confirms that consistent, strategic dietary choices, made with the right foods, prepared the right way, consumed with the right companions can fully support your eye's ability to resist and repair that damage. Imagine waking up with eyes that feels clear and rested, reading without leaning closer, driving at night without that familiar tension, seeing the details in a face across the room that you thought you'd never quite caught again. That's what this is about. Not just clearer vision, your freedom, your confidence, your connection to the world around you. Now I want to hear from you. Of the 7 vegetables on this list, which ones will you add to your meals this week? Tell me in the comments. I read every response. If this was valuable to you, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And share this with someone in your life who is navigating vision challenges. It could make a difference for Ariel. Them. This is Dr. Blake Harrison. Take care of your eyes. They are truly irreplaceable. I'll see you in the next one.